Thank you. Thank you for being here today. I grew up not that far from here in the city of Santa Ana. I was a pretty good kid growing up. I got decent grades. I stayed out of trouble. I always had a good group of friends around me. By all accounts, I was a pretty good kid. Looking back as an adult and learning more about how I grew up in Santa Ana, I didn't realize then, but I realize now how vulnerable I was. I didn't realize how much we struggled and how much my parents sacrificed so that we had a quality education and that we stayed out of trouble, that we avoided kind of the pitfalls that exist in some of our neighborhoods. My dad worked for a company in Santa Ana called Case Swain. It was a factory that made canned beans and hot sauce. And you would think that there'd be a huge perk that we would have an unlimited supply of beans and hot sauce at our house. But I remember as a kid running home or running to my dad when he got through the door and giving him a big hug. And I remember to this day feeling my hands just covered in his sweat because he was working in a factory all day long. And I can remember to this day the smell of hot sauce, so strong a smell that it would make my eyes tear up. And I remember it was such a strong smell that my dad would have to, as soon as he got home, go into the other room and take a shower, and we'd have to keep his whole laundry separate from the family's laundry because of how strong the smell was. For those of you that know me, I don't like hot sauce on my food as a result of that experience. But I remember as a kid asking my dad, why do you work so much? Why do you work so many hours? Why don't you just get another job? And I'll never forget, he looked at me and he said, I work this hard so that you have a better life than I did. I work where I work so that you have a house to come home to, so that your mom doesn't have to work and she could be here for you. I work this hard so that you can get an education and you could do better. And I would imagine that if I were to ask everyone in this room, or anyone else, any parent, anywhere in the world, what they want for their kids, I would be very confident that I would get the same answer. We all want our kids to do better than us. We all want our kids to grow up healthy. We want our kids to go to school, have a quality education, and to find something that drives them, something that they're passionate about, that they'll do for the rest of their life. That's what we all want as parents. And you would think after working all those hours, he would come home and just sit on the couch and just do nothing. But I never saw him do that. You would think that on the weekends when he wasn't working, we wouldn't do much as a family because he was so tired. But he always made sure that we had our family time. Sunday was always about church and family, and we'd go places. Saturday was always about chores, and I never enjoyed that growing up as kids. But Saturday was always about chores. And I remember my dad, he would spend hours doing our lawn work. And that meant us, all of us. And we would spend hours mowing the lawn and trimming it and making sure that everything's done correctly. And I remember asking him, Dad, why does our neighbor mow his lawn in 3 minutes? And it takes us half a day to do it. And I remember he brought me down and he showed me the edges in our lawn. And he said, these edges have to be straightened, which means we have to take the extra time to bring out the edger to make sure that we have straight lines. And you see that little crevice around the sprinklers? Well, we're going to carve out all the grass that's there so that it looks nicer and the sprinklers function. He showed me the attention to detail on something as simple as mowing a lawn. And then he took me over to the cars, and he showed me the crevice inside the rims of a vehicle. And he said, if you don't clean this little crevice, that means your car is still dirty. You see, if you do something, it reflects on who you are. If you don't do high quality work, that will reflect on who you are. So if you're going to do something, you do it with a standard of excellence. You do it because you're proud to do it, even if it's something as simple as washing a car or mowing the lawn. Now, for those of you that work very close to me, you now know why I pay attention to those little details. I think it's fair to say that I learned my work ethic and my standards of excellence from my dad. When I was 15, I had 2 part-time jobs, and I owned my own auto detailing business, of all things. And I had people working for me while I was in high school. My dad built a foundation. Having a strong home life built a foundation. My older brother was my role model, my mentor. He kept me out of trouble. So when I look back as an adult, the reason I am the person I am today is because I had people around me that were invested in my success. Every person in this room has experienced success because of the generosity of other people. We have all benefited from having role models and mentors and a support system. We've all had people there for when we struggled. I think we'd all like to think that every kid anywhere in the world has this support system, but we all know that isn't true. I've been very lucky as I look back at my life. I've been very lucky to have a support system, to have mentors to this day, to have people there for when I struggled. I've been very lucky. And the reason I love the Boys and Girls Club the way that I do, the reason I've made it my personal mission to lead this organization is because it's not about luck at the Boys and Girls Club. It's about being disciplined. It's about being focused. It's about being intentional to make sure that every child we have access to serving has that support system, has mentors, has that person in their life for when they struggle. Today, as we launch our new club, I can't help but think of the thousands and thousands of kids that are depending on us. They're depending on us to be their mentors. They're depending on us to be their role models. They're depending on us to be there when they struggle. They are depending on us. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to meet one of our kids and get a chance to kind of get to know him better. He's 6 years old. I asked him, "What's your favorite part about the Boys and Girls Club?" His answer was perfect. "My favorite part is the staff, because they make me feel good." I started to think about him. I started to think about what he needs from his Boys and Girls Club. I started to think about what challenges and obstacles and opportunities will stand in his way. I did the math, and I realized he will be graduating high school in the year 2028. Imagine with me, what will the world look like in the year 2028? What will technology look like? What will jobs look like? What opportunities will exist? And what new threats will stand in their way? Like you, you're probably starting to feel a little concerned because we don't know what the world is going to look like in the year 2028. And I started to think about all the obstacles and all the challenges and all the threats that are going to stand in his way and in the way of all of our kids. And I realized these threats, these obstacles, these challenges, they won't discriminate against your zip code, your economic status, or where you're from. You see issues like drugs and learning disabilities and abuse and broken homes. None of these issues care where you come from, how much money your parents make, or what your skin color is. These are the threats and obstacles that will stand in their way. I stand here and I tell you these things not because they're excuses, but because we need solutions. You see, I've been very fortunate. We have a rule of thumb at the Boys and Girls Club that we will treat every child we serve, as if they're our own kids. Now, I want you to put your parenting hat on for a second. Think about that responsibility. Think about the love and the care that you provide your kids. Think about the challenges that they'll face and that you will stop at nothing to make sure that you help them overcome those challenges. That's what we hold as a standard at our Boys and Girls Club. If someone is doing poorly in math, we get them tutoring. If someone has problems at home, we get them the support they need. If someone needs something from our Boys and Girls Club, we are there. We're there for when they struggle, and we're there to invest in their future. That's the expectation that we have. I see no higher obligation, no higher priority than to invest in our kids and to make sure that they're ready for the world that's waiting for them. We have that responsibility as parents. We have that responsibility as community leaders. We have that responsibility as Americans. That is what we are good at, is to make sure that we prepare our kids and that they do better than we did. Now, as we look ahead, I just shared with you the the reasons why we're committing ourselves to serve more kids and why they need us, I'd like to show you what this is going to look like and how we're going to make sure that every child we serve reaches their full potential. We're going to start off with the city of Santa Ana. As Travis mentioned earlier, we'll continue to operate our flagship club, the Joe McPherson Center for Opportunity, which is attached to our full-service teen center. And we'll be looking to enhance the technology and the programs that we have at that facility. We will be expanding our college-bound program to 2 additional high schools in the city of Santa Ana. We'll be expanding our early literacy intervention to 15 sites, 15 school sites. This is a program that does intervention during the school day to focus around early literacy. We'll be expanding into a new partnership with the Santa Ana Unified School District so that we can serve teens on campus at 2 high schools every day of the week. We'll continue our partnership with the school district to make sure that we're delivering our Future Leaders program, which is focused around coding and 21st century skills at 45 elementary and middle schools. We'll continue our partnership with Triple Play. It's a health, fitness, and nutrition strategy at 45 elementary and middle schools. Our reach is growing in the city of Santa Ana, but as you know and as we just shared with you, we'll be expanding our footprint, we'll be expanding our scope of work throughout the Central Orange Coast. Moving on to the city of Costa Mesa. City of Costa Mesa will be operating 2 sites, one of them located on the west side, which serves a high population of low-income families. We just recently invested into our facilities. We bought all new furniture and some equipment. We gave the new look and updated design of this space. Thanks to this renovation, we are introducing a new teen center at our Lou Yantorn site so that we can increase our reach and serve teens. Moving on to the city of Newport Beach. Newport Beach, we just recently underwent some renovations over the last couple weeks. We invested in new furniture and the design of the space. We are investing in programs and hiring more staff so we can improve the quality of program. At the city of Irvine, we also invested into the facility. Thanks to this renovation, we introduced a new teen center, a new learning lab, an entire new design scheme for the entire building that gives it a much closer look to 21st century standards. And so as we look at all of these cities, we're hiring more staff, we're training our staff like never before, we're introducing new programs because that's what our kids deserve in all of these communities. In addition to this merger, we're also excited to announce the expansion of our impact into the city of Orange. Through a new partnership with our friends here at the Orange School District, we'll be expanding our college-bound initiative to 2 additional high schools in the city of Orange to make sure that the teens in the city of Orange have a support system that will help prepare them for college and career. As we pursue this partnership, we'll be identifying new opportunities to make sure that the younger kids in the city of Orange also have the resources that they need in order to be successful. So as we look at this, collectively, we'll be serving kids age 6 to 12 at 50 locations, and we'll be serving kids, teens, age 13 to 18 at 13 locations. And it would be very easy for me to tell you that we're done, because that's a huge story. It's a lot of impact. It's a huge footprint. But if you know our team, you know our DNA, you know that we're not done. There are kids that are in these communities that need access to their Boys and Girls Club. And we will stop at nothing to make sure that they get these resources and to make sure that every community has access to their Boys and Girls Club. As we looked at the strategy, as we looked at the vision, we kept coming back to this cornerstone philosophy that every community should have their Boys and Girls Club. Their Boys and Girls Club. We kept coming back to this idea that the formula for success is that every city that we're in has a club to call their own. So as part of that commitment, we'll be rebranding our local sites to make sure that every club has their club. And so we'll be introducing the Boys and Girls Club of Costa Mesa, the Boys and Girls Club of Irvine, Boys and Girls Club of Newport Beach. We'll be keeping the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Ana. We'll be introducing the Boys and Girls Club of Orange, all under the umbrella of our new club, Boys and Girls Club of Central Orange Coast. And I want to explain to you the big reason for this. We need every community, parents, the city officials, local business, the kids to have their club. And so the strategy moving forward is pretty simple. We're going to have the infrastructure, the strength, and the expertise of a regional nonprofit. with the focus, the passion, and the accessibility of a local organization. So as we move forward, this is going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. If it were easy, it would have been done already. As we look ahead, we have to look at what our kids are going to need, not just now, but over the next several years. And I come back to that responsibility that we have as leaders to make sure that our kids have access to the support systems, that they have access to role models, that they have access to all the resources that they need in order to be successful. And this is about the kids that we're currently serving and also the potential to serve more. The lessons I learned from my dad and across my experience over the years, I've learned that there's two types of people in this world. They're the type of people that look at what needs to get done and they come up with a list of excuses and reasons why it's impossible to do. And then there's a type of person that looks at what needs to get done. They roll up their sleeves and they go do it. Now I'm surrounded with people that believe in our kids. They believe in the investment that needs to get made. They believe in the potential that exists in every child. I invite you to join me in rolling up our sleeves, making our kids a priority, doing what needs to get done, so that they have the same support system that we all had, so that they have access to the mentors, the support systems, the role models, and so that we're there when they need us most. I want to thank you for making the Boys and Girls Club a part of your family, and I want to thank you for making our kids a priority in your life. Thank you very much.